my fuckos and fuckettes. Welcome back. Another edition of the Average Guy's Guide to Life. You know who I am. You know what this is. Ya bitch. You. I wanted to just check in on you. Make sure your day and your week is going good. You're eventful. You're getting shit done. You're being productive. Good. Keep doing that. Make a difference. If you're not doing shit, laying around, watching your fucking ass get wider, good, do that shit too. Whatever makes you happy. Live your best life. As long as that's still a thing. Is that still a thing? I don't know. But live it. Do whatever you want to do. Whatever. We're all going to die eventually. And I just took this to a very morbid place. Welcome back, another edition of the podcast. Just wanted to share with you guys some funny observations that I had. It probably not as funny as I think, but I think it's hilarious. I wanted to talk about weed, marijuana, the sticky icky, the green shit, the loud, whatever fucking weird names they have for it nowadays. I don't know how the fuck they come up with the names of this shit. Like, a famous one is like blueberry kush. What is a kush? What is that? When I think of kush, I think of like something that's soft. Why is it blueberry? Did you mix this marijuana with like some blueberries? Like, is the color of the weed actually blue? And if it is, should you be smoking that? In my opinion, I think they should name marijuana after like television shows, like popular television shows that everyone knows. Like, you should be able to pick up something called The Walking Dead, for example. And when you smoke it, it basically turns you into a fucking zombie. Like, it switches your brain off and you're just floating through life. Buy that shit. Buy a couple of ounces of The Walking Dead. You want to tell me that you wouldn't buy, like, what's another one? What's another one? I'm just spitballing here. I really want to know what you guys would name your weed if you if you bought it, if you smoke it. Like, what would be a perfect name instead of these fucking mystery names? The shit that I don't know. Let's see. You probably wouldn't smoke anything called the Breaking Bad. That sounds like you're gonna have a bad trip. What's another good show? What's another one? What was the name of that show? Game of Thrones? Nah, you can't do shit with that. Nah. What's another show? What's another big show? I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I wanted to talk about, my experiences with it. Because I don't partake in it anymore. I don't have any problem with anyone who does recreationally, just as long as you aren't using it as a vice, something that you can't go a day without. Then that's a problem. As long as even if you're using it every day, but you're not addicted to it. Like, you're still using it recreationally, or maybe it's some sort of medication for you. I don't have any problem with that shit. Do you think? Smoke to your heart's content, by all means. But I don't partake in it anymore. I haven't smoked in over a decade, but when I did, and I mean I fucking did. And I wanted to tell you guys why I stopped and how I used to roll, not like literally roll up, blunts or joints, like how I used to, what I used to do when I was in that life. And I started smoking, like, I guess I was still kind of young. I lived a very hard, fast life with marijuana. Like, I had maybe a 3 year window. Yeah, it was like a 3 year window where I was smoking like it was the end of the fucking world every day. uh, and for no other reason. Like originally, when I first started smoking, and the only reason I'm talking about this is because now weed is going to be like, it's inevitable. It's going to be legal across the nation. Like every fucking state is eventually going to legalize it because for the most part, it's a harmless narcotic. Like it's harmless, for the most part. And it also comes from the earth. Of course, they put shit in it now, and sometimes you don't know what the fuck you buy. Uh, that's how they come up with all the weird names. They should call it what it actually is: leaf with chemicals and meth. Like, like, call it ground up leaf. People probably wouldn't buy it then if he just was blunt with the with the title of your weed, with like the description. It's like, hey, what do you got today? I got some ground up leaves with some gasoline and a little bit of cocaine. You in? You want to buy this? You want to buy this leaf? This leaf with dishwashing liquid and just a hint of heroin? You into that? But anyway, it's gonna be legal everywhere, and I'm actually not partaking in it, and I feel left out. I'm alienated here. I feel in isolation, so I want to share with you my stories. Because I can't be with you people now. I can't participate in the 420 crowd. Eventually, 420 is gonna go away. It's gonna be every day. Like every day is gonna be fucking 420, and 420 is one day after my birthday. So I feel bad that I can't participate. So I started my journey when I was how was I? I was 19. Okay, so it hasn't been a full decade yet. It's almost been a decade since I quit. But I think I started when I was like 19. I'll say 19, 20. And I was just curious because it was just so openly used on my college campus. It was just openly used. And people didn't care. Like, people were smoking fucking bongs outside of the dorms. Everybody did it at every party. And people used to just pass it around. I never saw anybody buy it. Like, I don't know. It was just like everywhere. It was free. It was basically free. You could walk anywhere and say, hey, you got some weed? Like, here you go. Here's some weed. So somebody just gave me some. No. That's not true. I actually bought some from someone because I didn't want anything for free. So I just bought some and I never used it. I just bought it and I had it and I just had it on me. Um, but one year I go home. Well, this year I'm speaking of, not one year. What the fuck am I talking about? But this year of my school, I go home. I go back to Chicago for summer break. And, this was one particularly stressful summer because I didn't want to go home. I wanted to stay. And I technically didn't have a home. Uh, and I was used to being independent. I didn't want to live under anyone else's rule. So one day, uh, I asked a neighbor, uh, like a downstairs neighbor in this apartment complex. I asked him because I knew he smoked like all fucking day. Like he smelled like weed. Like it was coming out of his pores. Like he would, like you can look in his eyes, and he would open his eyes and like smoke would come out of him. That's how high this motherfucker was all the time. So I knew he had what I needed, but I didn't want to tell him what I needed it for. I thought, you know, I used to smoke cigarettes as well. So I just asked him for some rolling papers. Like maybe he would just assume that I needed the papers to just roll a cigarette. So I didn't want to tell anybody. I was ashamed. Because I was better than that. I was smart. I was in college. I was supposed to be the one that built rocket ships and shit. The smart guy. I was a smart one. So I didn't want anyone to know, I didn't want anyone to know that I secretly had a fucking dime bag on me. Uh, so I go into the hallway, and I didn't like I knew you were supposed to crush it. I didn't know how fine you had to crush it. So doing my best here. My first attempt. I'm crushing it up. Ducked away in the hallway. My shoulders hunched over. I don't want anyone to see me. I'm trying to hide what I'm doing, and I crush it up, and I lick it, and it was like the ugliest joint you'd ever see in your life. It was lumpy. I made a really lumpy joint, but it all was in the paper. Like, luckily he gave me like 3 rolling papers, and I had to use 2, uh, so the weed would slip out. I was like, damn, should I do this in the hallway? Like, it's gonna smell like weed in this hallway, you know? Uh, oh, it's my co-host. Speak, speak, my co-host. All right then. You don't want to talk? Fuck you. You can interrupt me, but you don't have any input. There you go. Anyway, so I'm still unsure about how the fuck I should go about doing this thing. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna roll up and smoke it. And I smoked in that hallway. And yes, that's right, hallway. So my first experience, like the first time I smoked it, I didn't feel anything right away, you know. And I didn't want to I'm not an idiot. So I knew it was gonna do something. It's gonna do something. So I don't want to overdo it. So I just took a few puffs and I put it out. I also didn't want to get caught in the hallway, even though I knew everyone in the fucking area smoked. But I didn't want to get caught with it. I was better than this, better than these people. Uh, so I waited, and then next thing you know, I'm like smiling hard as fuck for no reason. No reason at all. Like ear to ear smiling. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I am sitting in this dirty hallway surrounded by criminals. Criminals and killers. And and hoes. Like nothing happened that would make me happy. Like I didn't just find $1 on the ground. I didn't get a text from a girl I was trying to hook up with. Nothing. But instantly I was happy. And I was like, damn, I want to go walk around. So that's what I did. I just walked. And I was like, damn, it's bright as hell outside. Like, it's really bright and beautiful. Like, I'm looking up. I'm not looking down at the, crushed beer cans and, cigarette butts and used condoms on the ground. I'm not seeing any. Okay. Damn. Once again, that train is 3 blocks away. I swear to God, I am not making this up. It fit like every time I hear that motherfucker, it feels like it's right outside of my window. And it's not. Damn, I hope we don't get any fucking twisters in the Midwest. This house is going up like, man. Anyway, shit. So I'm happy, and then I go back and I'm like, man, I really want to listen to some music right now. So I put on some music, and I don't remember exactly what I was listening to. It was probably something really dumb at the time. What the fuck was I listening to back then? It was probably like some Metallica or some U2 or whatever the fuck. Maybe I was listening to I don't know what had just dropped around that time. I don't know. So I was listening to some dumb shit. Like it wasn't no groundbreaking music, but to my ears at that time, it sounded like the best fucking thing I ever heard in my life. I was like, wow, I never appreciated how good this music was. So I'm just sitting there like still smiling like a fucking doofus. And then I get hungry. And, I'm a college kid. I don't have much money. I didn't have a summer job. I did have a few bucks on me. Not enough for a fucking 3-course meal or anything, but we in the hood. So in every hood, Every hood across America, there is a designated candy store. A designated house. It's not a store. I don't want you to get this twisted here. We don't have stores. We didn't have fucking stores. We had people that went to wholesale candy warehouses, bought some shit, took it back to their house, and decided that they were going to sell it to the people in their neighborhood. This was our candy stores. Strangers, people's homes. We don't know these people. We don't give a fuck. As long as the word gets out that they selling candy, we showing up. Everybody showing up. This person can be a fucking rapist, serial killer, pedophile. Whatever. Let me get a dollar worth of chews. Fuck is you talking about? So I had maybe like $5 on me. And it just happened to turn out that the guy that gave me the rolling papers was also the candy man. And at the time, I didn't notice the conflict of interest there. Like, how can you be high and smoke all the time and have a candy store? Like, that seems like that wouldn't be a practical choice of business, sir. You might want to get into a new industry where you're gonna be eating all your profits. Um, but anyway, that didn't cross my mind. I'm just fucking hungry. So I go downstairs and I'm like, Shaky, man, let me get some shit. Like, let me get some nachos with meat and cheese. For you people that don't know what that mean, um, they weren't really nachos. This ain't fucking authentic Mexican shit. Like I said, this is just some person's house. So the nachos with meat and cheese is just some fucking Doritos with the fucking nacho cheese poured in the bag with some ground beef in the same bag and a fork. If you don't use the fork, then you just squeeze it out into your mouth like a tube. Sometimes you get the peppers in there too, then you may need the fork. But damn, that sounds good right about now. But anyway, I asked for some nachos with meat and cheese. And one look at me, because remember, this guy's a fucking smoking expert. So one look at my little skinny ass, he noticed, like, yeah, oh yeah, this person is fucking lit right now. Like, this person is fucking blitzed. He is high as fuck. And he just had this grin on his face. He like, man, I got you. And he didn't charge me for him. He was like, come on in, man. I'm watching Naruto. And I'm like, holy shit, he giving me free food and I'm about to watch Naruto. Like, this is the greatest fucking day ever. I'm smiling like a motherfucker. And this is how I got, hooked on Naruto as well. Because at the time I didn't know what the fuck. Well, I knew what Naruto was, but I wasn't as into it. But when I watched it high, I was like, man, this is the greatest story ever told. So I'm sitting there, just having a good old time. While nothing, like, on the surface to a sober person, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. All you're eating artificial cheese in a bag of Doritos with some meat in it, squeezing it out like a tube, watching a cartoon with a stranger. Like, nothing is really happening. But to me, in that mind state that I was in, everything was happening. And it was great. And I was soaking it all in. And at that moment, I was hooked. I was hooked on that feeling. And that's how they get you. Anyway, that's how they get you. You're chasing the original high. You're always chasing the first high. You're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it. That's how people branch out to other drugs. That's why they say marijuana is a gateway drug. Not for all people. I don't believe that's true for all people, but that's why it is. You're chasing that initial high. But I'm not gonna get into that serious shit. This is some fun shit only, and poking fun at myself shit. So that initial high, I was chasing it, and I got damn close every time for the next few years because, like I said, when I made that first very lumpy joint, I didn't smoke all of it. I just took a few puffs, and I was like, if that can do that to me, then imagine if I smoke a whole joint to myself. Imagine if I transition to a blunt and take a few puffs of that. So, I was hooked on it. And coincidentally enough, the candy store guy, his name is Shaky, by the way. To this day, I don't know his real name. But to me, he was Shaky. Cool dude, super mellow. Of course, he was super mellow. He was always fucking hot. Um, he was like 30 and he still lived at home with his mom. But I didn't judge him. I didn't judge him. You know, he had a fucking candy store. So to me, the man was living the best life he could. You know, I was envious of his candy store profits and his ability to buy endless weed. So I fucking started hanging out with the guy. Like every day I was downstairs. I was down there in his house. And I basically became his employee. Like we were co-owners of this thing. I used to invest in it too. Like I got a link card. So if you guys don't know what a link card is, that's like food stamps. Like the government gives you, money for food. So I used to get a link card with $200 a month on it, and I would give him my link card. And we would use both of our link cards together, 200 and 200, and we buy 400 fucking dollars worth of candy. Nothing out of our own pockets. No money out of our own pockets. This was all fucking profit. All profit. Now, at the time, I'm a 19-year-old kid, and I don't understand what the fuck that means. Like, I don't understand that he's literally making like $800 to $1,000 every week or so. Every week or 2 weeks, this man is making $1,000. I didn't realize that. I was just happy to be doing something, but he would only give me a couple $100. But I was happy with that. I made this business. I joined his business out of nothing. Maybe I should have been getting more, but that's another. That's neither here nor there. There's ain't shit I can do about it now anyway. So, anyway, we got into this business together. It was our candy store. People now associated me and him with the candy store. But at the same time, we're always fucking hot. Always. Always. I would wake up in the morning. The first thing we would do is open up the candy store and smoke. Smoke, watch Naruto, play Naruto, and play Fight Night Round 3. All day. It was like the dream life. Like, all day. Sold candy, smoked weed, played video games. And it's like we didn't have to move. We didn't have to work. We didn't have to do actual work. The most work that we did was go to the fucking the candy warehouse to buy the fucking candy. Other than that, we didn't have to fucking work. We're sitting there high all the time. We can eat whatever the fuck we surrounded by. We don't care about the consequences. Fuck diabetes. Who gives a shit about diabetes? Right now we high. We won't whatever. And the customers came to us. No, and everybody was cool. Everybody knew, who we were. No one was trying to rob us or nothing like that. Every now and again, his stepfather would be high as fuck on crack. Like every now and again, I'd catch him like in between the bedroom and the bathroom smoking the crack pipe. And like be on another dimension, like a totally different world. The man, I don't know what he was looking at. Like, when people have that blank stare, like that 1,000-yard stare, and you know that this person is not on this planet right now. So every now and again, he he'd be looming around, high on crack, and but if anything, that was just more awkward for Shaky. It was just really weird. His two elderly parents, and this man is 30 years old, still having to watch his stepfather smoke crack. So that was kind of weird. But other than that, we saw fucking gravy. It was so good, And these were the good days. These were the very good days. Before I, this didn't lead me to quit. I also discovered that nacho cheese tastes fucking delicious on spaghetti. Don't believe me? Try that shit, bro. I call it nacho spaghetti. Some shit we made up one night when we was high as fuck, playing Fight Night. But afterwards, because of course I had to go back to school. And when I went back, uh, I continued my habit, and um, it was still good. It wasn't bad. Like I would, of course, I wouldn't smoke when I was in class or anything like that. I would separate those two worlds, and I didn't smoke as much as I did as when I was with Shaky because I didn't have the money. When I was back at home, we had a business, so we could both, you buy this time, I buy this time, whatever. But now I didn't have the money, so um, it was very few and far between when I was able to smoke. But it was still very good experiences most of the time. Um, and I mean, the life I lived around it changed too. You know, uh, of course, I wasn't surrounded by delicious candy and potato chips and cakes. Uh, so I think the only thing I used to do after that was listen to music. Like I listened to a lot of music, and these were probably my more creative years. I did a lot of drawing and I did a lot of writing, and I just I don't know. This is probably what ruined it too because I was always in my head when I was smoking. After I left and went back to college, I was always in my head dissecting things, figuring out things, looking for the deeper meaning in things so I can use it in my creative works. Um, I was always appreciative of creativity. Like the music would blow me away, and I'd be watching an average movie, like an average movie, and I could see the beauty in it. And I'd be like, man, this is going to make me amazing. You know, looking back, that was some of the worst fucking things I did. Like, I look back at some of the songs I made back then, and I'm like, this is fucking garbage. Back then, I didn't know that. Okay. Um, when it started to flip, though, is what happens to a lot of people. And I know every smoker has experienced this at least once, is you hear your own voice in your head, and it's not good thoughts anymore. It's no longer that, ear to ear grin. You're starting to fucking dissect the situation around you. You're starting to fucking get creeped out and worried about the situation around you and the people around you and the things that your eyes are picking up and the things that your ears are picking up. And it begins to worry you, and you begin to get paranoid. Finish with my woman because she couldn't help me with my mind. Black Sabbath. So yeah, you begin to get paranoid, and a lot of people could shake that off, and I thought I could too. A few times I would be able to work through it, but it was mainly when I'd be alone or be around people that I was really, really, really comfortable with, like people that I would fucking take a bullet for. If I'm not that comfortable around you, I could not smoke with you, or I could not smoke around you. So I'd be able to work through it, but only in specific circumstances. But most of the time I wasn't in those circumstances. I gotta be out, gotta do stuff. I'm on campus. I have a roommate. I'm not particularly fond of this roommate, so I can't smoke when I'm around him. You get the picture. So the moment I knew I had to cut back, even though I didn't, this is on me. I'm stupid. But the moment I knew I had to cut back, uh, is when I was in the rec room, uh, and everybody was watching a movie. So I decided to pull up and watch a movie too. I'm already high at this point. And I'm fucking hungry, and I'm waiting for food to be delivered. So I'm like, in the meantime, I'm going to watch this movie. The movie was Freddy versus Jason, right? And anybody that's ever seen this movie, Freddy versus Jason, it's not a serious movie. Like, you're familiar with the characters, you know what the fuck this is. It's a popcorn flick with two iconic characters, right? The movie isn't fucking scary. The movie is it's a bad movie. It's a bad fucking movie. Let me just put it like that. Like, it's an entertaining movie. At the time when I first saw it, I was highly entertained. But now that I'm an adult, I realize this is a bad fucking movie. It's not good. Uh, you know, had its moments, but whatever. So I'm watching it, just getting sucked into the movie, and I'm fucking petrified. Like, I'm horrified watching this movie. Like, the texture of Freddy's skin started to fucking freak me out. And, Jason cutting people in half and shit. And, it would start to fucking freak me out. I'm sitting here in shock and terror, staring at this movie like my eyes are bulging out of my head. I'm starting to breathe fast, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I've seen this movie a dozen times. It's not scary. Why am I freaked out right now? So I'm like, fuck this shit. Screw you guys. I'm going home. So fuck it. I went up to my room. I didn't even wait for the food. And that's when I was like, you know what? I gotta cut back. That and I started that and I just started to not remember conversations that I had with people. Because I was dating a girl at the time, and she would call me on the campus phone, like the rec room phone. I didn't have a cell phone. She would call me in the rec room phone all the time. And she would just be talking and talking and talking and talking. And I don't remember any fucking thing she was talking about. And I would just agree or say uh, say like super cliche statements like, oh yeah, man, that's life. Just dumb shit. But I don't know if she noticed, which is even sadder. She couldn't notice. I mean, she couldn't have, because we were in a relationship after that. So yeah, that's when I realized I had to cut back, but I didn't. Like, I didn't cut back entirely. I still smoked here and there. Because I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed, I was trying to get that first experience back. And, like, and this is the fucking nail that, I don't know the phrase. Am I high now? What the fuck? You know what I mean? This is the nail that ended some shit. This is the nail that nailed and bored some shit. Some shit was nailed, okay? And I used to smoke with my cousin. My cousin is a homosexual. I don't care. I never held that against him. Um, back in the day, me and him used to hang out a lot. A lot of people didn't like to hang out with him for other reasons, because he was kind of a scumbag, kind of a gossiping type. Had a real slick mouth, but I understood him because he was sort of an outsider, and I have that outsider's mentality. So we got on, and he was probably the only person in the family that knew I smoked. So I was comfortable with him. I was comfortable smoking around him. So when I was back in town for a summer or spring, I would smoke with him. Uh, and for the most part, we had very good experiences. I remember smoking with him one summer, like the whole summer, and it was great. Like, we had great experiences. I didn't have any of those experiences I had when I was on campus. And met this really hot girl too. Like, we went to a fucking water park high as fuck. Like, luckily nobody drowned, but I did almost drown someone. Uh, he had a boyfriend at the time, but he was still also attracted to girls too. So it was perfect. So he went to this water park with me, and the goal was trying to find me a girl at the time. And we went to this water park, and he just pointed out two girls. He was like, go get them. And I was like, well, you gotta come with me. You gotta be my wingman. You're like, cool. And we saw them going up the water slide. I was like, fuck it, let's get right behind them. I'm like, cool. So the girl I was interested in, she goes up the water slide, and she slides down. Okay, cool. I go up behind her, and I slide down like a fucking rocket. And I didn't realize that she was sliding down kind of leisurely. So I slide down going maybe fucking 50 miles an hour. And I and I crack this girl, smash her head with my ass, and push her into the water. So I'm on top of her as we're in the water, and then I fucking swim my way off of her, and I help her up. I pull her up out of the water. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I, I just sat on you. I just sat on your fucking head. Like, I'm so sorry. She's like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. It's like, but that is fucked up. I was like, I mean, it's kind of cool because I did kind of want to meet you. Like, I was looking at you from across the way, so it was one hell of a way to meet somebody. But anyway, sorry to digress with that story. Uh, so this is the nail I was telling you about. So years later, I'm no longer in college. Um, I'm at home in Chicago, still a very young man. I think I was 21 at the time, 21, 22, something like that. Maybe even 23. Um, but uh, he had some weed. And he didn't know that I had basically cut back entirely now. Like, I'm in the corporate world, I don't want to get drug tested, blah blah blah. But the last time I was with him and every experience we had, after that, they were good. So I'm like, fuck it, this is my blood, this is my cousin, I love this guy. So we smoked, and I'm like, shit. Immediately I knew this was a bad idea because I was a different person then, and he was a different person. So, when we smoked, I felt extremely uncomfortable because I felt like he didn't know me anymore and I didn't know him anymore. And there's one thing you need to know about my cousin. He assumes everybody's gay. I don't know why. That's just how he is. He just assumed everyone was gay. He assumed all of my brothers were gay. He assumed all of my sisters were gay. He assumed all his friends are gay. I mean, he's right about them. I mean, they're gay. But he was wrong about me. I mean, he saw me with the girl that fucking I sat on her head. Like, we was together for that whole summer, you know, up until she went to Xavier College, because I think she was like a year younger than me. Like, she was 18, people. She was legal. She was fucking legal. Uh, but when she went to Xavier, like, we couldn't fucking hang out anymore. Two different schools. Um, but anyway, like, he saw me with women. I had girlfriends, but he still assumed that I was gay. I didn't hold that against him. Whatever. Still my family. But what's fucked up is when I was high, I felt like he was right. But not like I wasn't confirming him. I wasn't confirming him, and I'm not. But I wanted him to feel comfortable. I wanted him to feel comfortable around me because he didn't know me anymore. So I wanted him to feel like he was right. Like, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe. And I started to sound gay to myself. Like, I had gay, what do you call it? What do you call that shit? Cadence. Like, I had a gay cadence when I was talking. Like, even when I was standing there, I felt gay. Like, is my hip out right now? Like, is my hand on my hip right now? Am I standing like this? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this person radiating gayness and it's like being attached to me right now? So it was an awful, awful experience, and I couldn't wait. I could not wait for him to fucking get out, so I could return to normal. Like, what the fuck? And I'm sitting here, I'm fucking chain smoking cigarettes, just trying to fucking get the weed, the high off of me. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck cigarettes got to do with that, but I thought it would help. And I'm sitting there smoking shit tons of water. I'm trying to eat as much as I could. The bread tasted dry as fuck. I made a sandwich, and the bread tasted like the driest thing I had in my life. It tasted like I was, it tasted like I was eating like a sandwich made with sandpaper bread. Like, it was horrible. Especially when you smoke, you got dry mouth. Oh, god damn. Don't miss that part. I don't miss that part of it. Your mouth just feel thick as fuck. If your mouth feel like you got like clay in it, like you just got clay at the bottom of your tongue, and you just thick ass dry mouth. Um, so I couldn't wait for him to fucking leave, so I could just return to normal. And the minute he did with that, what do you call it? Condescending, patronizing smirk, like, yeah, I knew it all along. Well, he don't sound like that. He sounds like a normal guy. I was like, fuck, damn, that was a horrible experience. I need to go pick up my girlfriend. I was dating somebody at the time. So I immediately call her. I'm like, where you at? She like, I'm at home. I'm like, you want to come spend the weekend with me? She like, okay, cool. So I drive over there, fucking 75 miles an hour, pick her up, shoot back to the house, and I fucking fuck that girl for like 2 hours just to get the gayness off of me. It was, I mean, nothing wrong with gay people, by the way. Nothing wrong with you guys. Keep doing your thing, which is dicks. You like to do dicks, keep doing the dicks. Um, but this is probably too much information. But I fucked that girl for like 2 hours. 2 hours just to get the gayness off of me. And when we were done, she was like, what the hell? Poor girl, the poor fucking broken girl. She was like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? She was happy, of course. She's like, where did that come from? I'm like, long story. You trust me, you do not want to hear it. But ever since then, I quit. I stopped because I didn't feel like me when I was smoking it. I didn't feel like myself. I was in my head too much. It made me worry too much. It made me too fucking paranoid, and I just couldn't do it. So that's my story, folks. Congratulations to all you potheads out there who's gonna have national access very soon. I did want to talk about something else on this podcast, but it seems like I've been rambling on for fucking damn near an hour about that. Guess I'll have to save that for next time. Here's a little teaser for you, though. It has to do with balls. Man balls. Here I am saying that I wasn't gay. But yeah, it has to do with balls. I am going to leave you with my double standard of the week. There's two of them. I said I wasn't going to do of the weeks in the same episode, but there happens to be two double standards that was on my mind. The first is engagement rings and wedding rings. Engagement and wedding rings. Why the fuck can't I get a diamond? Tell me this. Tell me. Why do you get to have a diamond? Bitch, I like diamonds. I like shiny shit. Super double standard. I gotta have this plain ass circle. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna wear the fucking diamond ring. Maybe give me a masculine looking diamond ring. Maybe just buy me a diamond. I'll put it on a fucking necklace. I'll put it on my fucking keychain. Why do I have to drop a fucking, half a year's salary to give you something shiny? Why can't I have something shiny? So that's the first double standard that stuck out in my mind. And what was the second? It had something to do with oh yeah. Why is it all right for a woman to comment on a man's weight or just state the obvious when it comes to a man's physical appearance? You're balding. You're a little chubby. You're beginning to develop some man tits. Why is that all right? But a man can't turn around and say, your tits getting kind of long there, fella. Your stomach's starting to stick out a little bit further than your ass there, baby. What's going on, double chin? Or even just, baby, your hair ain't all that. Like, you ain't got none. Like, baby, don't try to put that in a ponytail. That's not your look. Get a weave. Double standard. It's a fucking double standard. Anyway, this is one of my longer episodes, but in my opinion, it's been one of my best. So, hope you listened to it all. And if you've made it this far, I love you. I love you very much. I really do. Just don't fucking ask me for money. All right. Bye.